This is the next part of Our Casuarina Tree by Toru Dutt. Our fourth and fifth stanzas were left behind. So let me first read the third stanza again so that we will continue with the fourth and the fifth. O sweet companions, loved with love intense, for your sake shall the tree be ever dear. Blent with your images, it shall arise. In memory, still hot tears blind mine eyes. What is that dirge like murmur that I hear, like the sea breaking on a shingle beach? It is the tree's lament and airy speech that haply to the unknown land may reach. So here there is a reference of the unknown land. That means the voice of the tree, the moaning or the weeping, must have reached some unknown lands. Now we come to stanza 4th. Again, here there is the word unknown. So there is a link between the third stanza and the fourth stanza. Unknown, yet well known to the eye of faith. Ah, I have heard that wail far, far away. So she has heard that cry, that same dirge like murmur, she has heard far, far away. In the fourth stanza, the poet presents an in depth connection with the tree. Through the images of waves, she takes us to the foreign lands which are unknown yet well known, where the waves gently kiss the classic shores. She imagines that by faith she has heard this cry of sorrow, this wail, far away from distant land, as if the dead are in distant lands, unknown yet well known to the eye of faith. Ah, I have heard that wail far, far away. That cry of sorrow she has heard far, far away coming from distant lands. In distant lands, by many a sheltered bay, protected bay. Bay is a kind of a water body, and the land is also there in it. When slumbered in his cave, the water wraith. So here there is a reference. Here she says, even when she went to distant lands like France or Italy, she heard the cries of her loved ones. Probably when she was near a sheltered bay. At that time, the ghost or the spirit of water, that is the water wraith, the ghost or spirit of water that appears before and after people are dead, gently touch the seashores of these countries. In distant lands, by many a sheltered bay, when slumbered in his cave, the water wraith and the waves gently kiss the classic shore. Classic shore of which countries? Of France or Italy. I will again tell you the meaning of these 5 lines, that even when she was in distant lands like in France or Italy, away from her motherland, there also she could hear the cries of her loved ones. When the waves were kissing the shores, she could hear the same cry which she had heard in her own motherland. Beneath the moon, when earth lay tranced in a dreamless swoon, that is, in the night when the entire earth was full of the moonlight, when earth lay tranced in a dreamless swoon. Dreamless swoon means when the earth was fainting, when when the earth was in a state of unconsciousness and fainting. And every time the music rose before mine inner vision rose a form sublime. And every time this music rose, but in her mind's eye, in the deeper, in her mind, a vision of a sublime form rose. Sublime means exalted. That means the vision of the tree came in her mind's eye. Thy form, O tree, as in my happy prime. That means she remembers the picture of the tree when they were all very happy, when the children were all very happy and they enjoyed the best moments of their life. I saw thee in my own loved native clime. That means she remembers the tree when she was in her own motherland with her brother and sister. Now let us come to the last stanza. Therefore, I fain would consecrate a lay. That means, fain means gladly. So I would gladly, and consecrate means dedicate. I would gladly dedicate a song for the tree unto thy honor, in the honor of this casuarina tree, beloved of those who now in blessed sleep for a repose. So she says that she is devoted for a sacred purpose and she wants to write a verse in the loving memory of her dear ones who have now slept a deep sleep. That means they are now dead. Dearer than life to me, alas, were they. And she remembers with great nostalgia, she remembers all her childhood activities and she says they were dearer to her than life. Alas, they were. Mayest thou be remembered when my days are done. So she says, may those children, her siblings, be remembered even after her death. With deathless trees. Here, actually, thou here means the tree. May the tree be remembered even after she dies. Mayest thou be remembered when my days are done. With deathless trees like those in Borrowdale. Now, Borrowdale is in England and it is a place where the yew trees are there and William Wordsworth mentioned, and it is near the Lake State. So there the yew trees have become immortal. Now she compares the casuarina tree with the Borrowdale where the yew trees are there, and same she wants the casuarina tree to be immortal like the Borrowdale trees. Under those awful branches she lingered pale, fear, trembling hope, and death, the skeleton, and time, the shadow. She also remembers the days of sadness when her brother and sister feared death. They saw trembling hope and death and fear in their minds because they had this disease of tuberculosis. Her brother Aru died when he was 14. Her brother Abju died when he was 14, and sister Aru passed away the next year, and tuberculosis infected her also. And time, the shadow, and time would soon pass like a shadow, and everyone would be dead. And though weak the verse, that would thy beauty fain, oh fain rehearse. So she says, maybe her verse may be weak, but she will praise the beauty of the tree. She will remember the tree with happiness. May love defend thee from oblivion's curse. So she wants that her love will win over this state of forgetfulness and nobody will forget the tree. Rather, the casuarina tree of her childhood days, her best days of life, will be immortalized in the verse. Thus, the tree becomes a symbol of happiness and sad days together, and it becomes a giant and a gallant tree which has faced all the days of their life, the best and the worst together. Thank you.